Alright, let's talk about Vitrolife, one of the life science companies that are super important in solving the crisis of negative population growth. We will look at one article on this real quickly, who the other companies are other than Vitrolife, and then we will take a look at the results of Vitrolife, because you need to understand the numbers on this one. They grow a lot with goodwill, and this one 4.3 billion accounting trick that the tax people hate is the reason that the results are like they are for the full year of 2023. So hopefully after watching this video you will have a lot greater understanding of this trend and this company. So looking quickly at some of the articles that are surrounding companies like Vitrolife, if you Google it, you read, you're gonna see a lot of M&A activity, and you're gonna see articles such as this one, 15 countries with negative population growth, and Vitrolife among other companies are gonna be tagged in articles like that. So according to data here from the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation, a significant decline in global population growth is expected this century. By 2050, most countries, over 75% of them, will have fertility rates too low to maintain their current population size. This trend is projected to reach near completion by 2100, with a shrinking population in nearly 97% of the total countries. So this global trend is one that most people are aware of now. We've seen a lot of news on it. It's on the mainstream news. A lot of people talk about this, and it's especially bad in, for example, South Korea, but here in Europe we're seeing it as well. For example, Italy is one of the worst hit ones. So, while there is an expected population decline worldwide, the rates of decrease will vary greatly by region. Wealthier countries already experiencing very low fertility rates are expected to see a further decrease in their population. Developed countries in Europe, for instance, have been experiencing low fertility rates since the 1970s. Therefore, we now see many European countries with negative population growth, such as Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. Interesting choice of region here, the Baltics. This trend has potential environmental benefits, including reduced pressure on food production systems and lower carbon emissions. Of course, you gotta bring in the ESG. Additionally, parts of sub-Saharan Africa could see significant economic opportunities emerge. However, in many countries, a decreasing workforce and an aging population could lead to economic strain. We always see the talk about emerging markets, although we see some big institutional issues in this region preventing growth, such as the lack of property rights, and that's what's giving the cost of capital that you need in these regions is extremely high, so we're not really seeing investments there. For instance, according to a UN study, as fertility rates decline and life expectancy improves, the numbers of children under 5 years old is projected to decrease by 40% by 2100. On the other hand, people aged 65 years or above will make up 25% of the global population. This has the potential to pose challenges for many countries. Indeed, we're seeing focus on robotics, we're seeing focus on AI, we're seeing focus on fertility treatments. All this is riding this global macro trend. Let's do a quick overview here of the global fertility treatment market, just talk about the companies that are in, and then we will look at Vitrolife specifically and just take a look at the numbers there. So, as low birth rates and fertility rates continue to lead countries toward population shrinkage, it's no wonder that the market for fertility treatments is booming. The value of this market globally stood at 1.5 billion in 2021. It is projected that the market will grow at a rate of 8% per year between 2022 and 2032 and will reach 3.5 billion in 2032. In addition to low fertility rates, increased adoption of the most advanced treatments is a major driver of the growth in the market. However, the high costs of treatments, non-coverage, and treatments in insurance, by the way, this is changing. It's getting covered at a lot of big tech companies and large companies. I think this trend will only continue to increase, that it will be part of the coverage to make workers comfortable to stick with a company and continue to work into older ages. Anyways, stringent government regulation and ethical issues associated with the treatments are some of the challenges this market faces. Some established companies operating in the global fertility treatment markets include Thermo Fisher Scientific, ticker symbol TMO, Vitrolife Sweden AB, ticker symbol VITR, and Hamilton Thorne Ltd, ticker symbol HTL. Alright, so shortly regarding these companies. Thermo Fisher, a major player in the life sciences industries, offering a wide range of solutions. The company is at the forefront of research in fertility treatments. Recently, it took a step to advanced fertility research by introducing 2 new tools based on next-generation sequencing technology. This launch has expanded the company's existing portfolio in reproductive health by bringing the power of next-generation sequencing to more research labs. This technology allows for faster in-house testing and analysis, potentially accelerating advancements in the field. So that's one of the players focusing a lot on the testing aspect, focusing a lot on mapping DNA in that case, and just making sure that that part is all figured out. Then we have Vitrolife Sweden here. It's among the global leaders in the field of in vitro fertilization and is actively expanding its global footprint. Recently, Vitrolife New Zealand and Vitrolife Canada, both subsidiaries of Vitrolife AB, signed exclusive agreements with Memphasis Limited, which is a company providing fertility solutions. Under this agreement, Memphasis will be able to sell and distribute Felix systems in New Zealand and Canada. A similar agreement was executed between Memphasis and Vitrolife for the Japanese market in August 2023. So they're partnering up with all the fertility clinics around the world. Most of the growth is coming from outside of Sweden. They have a breakdown of this in their quarterly earnings reports, but the market is huge for this. It's a global market, and by partnering up here and making exclusive deals, they're able to be the vendor and utilize a global distribution network to continue growing. Then we have Hamilton Thorne. It's another well-known company specializing in tools and services for fertility treatments, research, and cell biology. The company recently acquired Genetics Medical Products and Genetic Services, which is a Belgian leader in innovative IVF devices. This move has strengthened the company's consumables portfolio and expanded its reach into the profitable European market. So we're seeing an industry bloom and boom around this trend of global population decline. This was 3 companies that you can look at in your own research. And let's look closer at Vitrolife. We can see stock price right here zoomed out. Indeed, they have been booming, and just here in 2021, stock price was extremely high. And then, just like a lot of other growth stocks that were not part of being the Magnificent Seven, we saw a steep drop in share price, and it has not recovered yet from this. If we look at finances, these become quite interesting. We will take a look at the income statement first. So we're seeing a total revenue here in 2021. So this is in thousands of Swedish kroner. So this means that they're having just a huge jump in profits in this case. We're talking billions here on the number furthest to the left. So we're seeing 1.6 billion here going to 3.2 billion, and then 3.5 for the year of 2023. And we saw profitability here in the past. Pre-tax income, 500 million, almost 500 million for 2021, and then a little bit more than 500 million for 2022. However, something happened here in 2023. Wow, 3.7 billion in losses all of a sudden in 2023. How come? Well, I did some research. I looked around for you guys. You know, I always do the research. I prepare these videos, so push the like button if you appreciate that. We can take a close look here at non-tangible assets, more specifically goodwill. We can see that from the year of 2022 to the year of 2023, we're seeing that goodwill here on the balance sheet, which is basically the excess value that you purchased a company for in the M&A deal. And remember, earlier in the video I talked about Vitrolife growing a lot with M&A activities. So we're seeing here almost 14 billion here, going down to 9.5 billion in 2023. So we saw a huge write-down in goodwill, and this is something that indeed affects the results. It affects what you're able to tax, basically. But if we look at the cash flow report, this does not affect the cash flow because it's a non-cash expense. Basically, how it works when you do an M&A deal, the average price is 20% above current market value that the stock is trading at, that the deal will go through on, and then you will have overpaid a bit compared to all the assets on the balance sheet that you get from the new company when you merge, when you buy this company, and all that excess value needs to have some sort of representation in the balance sheet, and in this case this shows up as goodwill. This will be written off over time and it will offset taxes. So you write it down, you take a loss, and then as a result you don't have to pay taxes. This is a very common accounting trick in Sweden. So I hope that explanation made a lot of sense, because when we look at the numbers they line up, and if we look at company communication we see that they made a 4.3 billion write-down of goodwill. So a write-down in non-tangible assets. So that explains a bit of the numbers. We're seeing this good growth here in total revenue, and I only think that this will continue, and especially as I mentioned before, that we're seeing a lot of the big companies include coverage for their female employees for this type of treatment with freezing egg, with IVF, to make sure that they feel comfortable continuing to work up until old age. And this is something that vendors such as Vitrolife will have an impact on profitability, it will have an impact on revenue. And if we see big companies doing this, well, then mid-sized companies have to follow suit, because otherwise they're not going to get as many applications, they're not going to get as many workers, and this will trickle down into corporate culture and the sort of benefits that companies offer. All right, that's been it, covering this market, taking a look at the growth of the IVF treatments. We took a look at 3 companies and we went a bit deeper into the result of Vitrolife in this video. As always, I hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.